Welcome back to Dodge Band Life. Oof, man, it's been a while. It's been like a year, a good year since I posted my last video. A lot has happened since then. Obviously, got a new job. Now I'm on the East Coast. I was able to buy a house. As you can see, this is my garage inside the house. You can see there's a lot of vehicles here. I don't know which one to start with. I guess we just start in order. So every vehicle here, I drove here except one new one over there, which I'll talk about in a second. But here is the Honda. Nothing really wrong with it. I think right now all I'm doing is swapping the radiator, because I learned that when you buy a radiator for the CB7, they have two sizes. The manual one is actually I believe a 1-inch filler neck. I could be wrong about that. It might be 0.75 or something like that. And then the auto, because it has a transcooler built into the radiator itself, is a larger filler neck. So you can see what I did here. I did the ghetto style, you know, a hose within a hose deal, and just clamped it down. It worked fine for a while, but the design of this radiator here, the bottom, what do you call it, the outlet neck or whatever, that one wasn't very long. So this one had enough. Like, I think this one's about that long. You can see here on this guy. Yeah, that one's kind of long. And then the bottom, you can see down here, I don't know if you can see it actually, but the neck is kind of short. So basically when I did the hose on the hose trick, there wasn't a lot to grip on. So eventually the hose expanded from the heat and it just popped off. So I went ahead and ordered the correct radiator, as you can see here. So I'm going to swap that in. And other than that, I don't think this car has any issues, not that I remember. It's leaking oil a little bit here and there, but I just think that's from me not tightening some of the bolts down all the way when I was swapping the transmission from auto to a manual. And then the truck over here, let's see if I can turn this light around. The truck over here, as you can see, it was going strong. This was actually my daily driver for a long time. When I first got here, I actually drove, I have the Golf that my friend gave me. I drove that here initially, and then I came back to drive the Honda, and then flew back to drive the truck. And then the Golf developed some problems, and so I started daily driving this guy until it was really cold this winter, and I believe the, what do you call it, the water pump filler neck thing, or the housing neck, it's made out of plastic. I believe maybe there was some sort of expansion there when it maybe froze, or sort of froze, and it cracked, and it's been leaking from pretty much like kind of the top of the block. So I'm hoping that's what it is, that the plastic's just cracked and it's leaking from that and not the block itself. But I guess I won't know till I tear it down, and I should probably check the head studs and stuff that I did anyway, make sure the head gasket's not leaking. So I'll do another full teardown of this, pretty much just open it up and see that the engine swap that I did, because this is now a 2.5 instead of 2.3 Duratec, that, you know, everything went well, because I've read that some of the ARP head studs can back out a little bit if you don't Loctite them, and I did not Loctite them, so they might have backed out a little bit. Maybe the head's a little bit loose on there, I don't know, but that's sort of in the works. And then there's good old Dodgy Band. As you can see, that made it across the country as well. 2,000 miles, no problem. Really nothing's wrong with that. With the Dodgy Band, it's doing good. The air doesn't hold tire on the passenger side too well. It leaks every month. I have to fill it up a little bit, but those tires are shot anyway, so I gotta get new ones. But yeah, other than that, it's a strong running van. And then, as you can see, the Golf is back there, just doing general maintenance. It's kind of my daily driver right now because these two cars are down for now. So that's been getting me around, but that's been throwing codes and stuff too. I think the other O2 sensor, because there's two in that car, I replaced the front one, and then I think bank 2 went out. So it's got to check engine light. I got to check that after I make this video. And then, yeah, as you can see here, I got a Lexus GS300. Picked it up for $1,200. It has 267,000 miles on it. So it has a healthy amount of miles. But mechanically it seems pretty strong, and the reason I got it was because my mom wanted to come visit, and she needed a car, and all my cars are manual except for the Dodgy Band, but I don't think she would want to drive the Dodge Band around. It's kind of big and bulky, has no mirrors. I mean, it has side mirrors, but doesn't have, I can't see out the back. You know, it's just kind of clunky to drive for an old lady, especially an Asian old lady, because you know what they say about Asian women drivers. That's messed up. But anyway, I picked this up for her, and I've been going through it to make sure that it's safe for her to drive. I just did some basic maintenance on it. Did a coolant flush, a spark plugs, and new wires. Didn't change the coils. I should probably do that at some point though. And then, you know, like new air filter. I put some seafoam in the motor oil in the fuel tank to clean out some of the gunk inside that might have built up. I don't know. And I am going to be doing a transmission flush soon. I haven't gotten to that yet. I just need to drive it around a little bit to get that seafoam all up in there. And the other thing is there's clunking from the suspension. So I'm guessing it's either the shocks are bad on this car, because they probably are, and or the ball joints probably are bad too, because it's a higher mileage car. So those things normally wear and tear out. So I ordered some coilovers actually, because I've always wanted a GS300 since I was a teenager, and I never really had a reason to buy one, because they're also automatic, and manual swapping these are not like the most simple thing in the world. I never really looked into it, so I didn't know how hard it was. But now that I have one, or it's, you know, since I needed to buy one for my mom to drive around, or I needed a car, I guess, I decided to opt for this because it's an automatic, and it's something I always wanted, and it was cheap, $1,200. So I did that, and so I've ordered coilovers for this car, because I figured, well, you know, if my mom's gonna be driving it and the shocks are bad, I might as well replace it and, you know, like build it the way I would want to. So I got coilovers for the bad shocks, and I was like, well, if I get coilovers, it's gonna be lowered, I need new wheels. So I ended up picking up a set of wheels from Facebook Marketplace. These are 19 by 10.5s, plus 25, so that should fit pretty much right on, it's right on the edge of it's gonna be like right on the edge, right here, I think, by my calculations, my maths, and I'm Asian and I'm good at math, so it should be right about there. So it's gonna be on the edge of rubbing or knocking into the fender, so I might need to pull and roll these fenders a little bit for it to clear. I'm not planning on running any camber or being crazy low. I don't want to be slammed. I just want it to look nice. So hopefully those wheels work for that, because they were also cheap. And yeah, but anyway, I'll show you more of those cars as I work on them. The plan for the GS is just to get it safe and drivable for my mom, obviously, and you know, so she can just get around without having to worry about breaking down or calling me about it. And then once, you know, she's done using it, maybe I'll start to sort of, you know, tinker around and play with it a little bit. And the other update, let's see what else is, oh yeah, I got new wheels for the truck. They're just, you know, cheap Steelies off of Summit Racing, 17 by 9 with some what are these, 235/60s? Yep, 235/60s. The front suspension is lowered as it was before, except I think I got a 1-inch spacer, which I already had, so just reused those with a, I believe it was 3-inch drop springs that I found online. So 3 inches was a little bit too aggressive, so I had to raise it back up with that spacer. So if I were to do it again, I'd probably just buy the DJM 2-inch drop springs to get the height that I wanted. And in the back, that's the stock Explorer. When I did the rear axle swap, it's the stock height that the Explorer would be at. I think it's a little bit high, just because of how low the front is. So I put on a shackle I had, like an aftermarket one, that I was using on the van, and I decided to not use on the van, and then so I had an extra pair, so I just slapped it on the truck to see if it would work, and it kind of worked for me. But I think I'm gonna have to buy another set of shackles, short shackles, to lower it about another inch from where it is, and then I think it would be perfect. Yeah, that's kind of the update, and hopefully I'll have some more content for you guys soon. Maybe I'll make a series on the GS300 and what I'm doing with that. because I'm thinking maybe 400 to 500 horses on that guy, but making it street legal. So I guess what do you call it? Emissions compliant. Because even though I don't live in California anymore, at least getting it to conform to the California standards is actually really smart, because it'll pass emissions in any state then. Obviously at 400 or 500 horses it's not going to pass, but I would come up with some solutions to, you know, basically hot swap is what I'd have to do, is swap things back to stock pretty much, or stockish, because like this Honda here, a lot of this stuff isn't stock, like the airbox here. The intake manifold's not stock. This tube is from a Prelude actually, and this box is also from Prelude. So this is not Accord parts, but when I took it in to get smogged in California, with this setup, they looked at it and they couldn't tell. That, you know, because they don't have engine bays memorized in their head or what it's supposed to look like. Usually there's a battery right here, I believe, and then the Accord airbox is here. But I modified that so that everything looks stock, but this is a true cold air intake now, because the opening for the airbox is opens into the fender and there's no restriction at all. So I'll look at maybe trying to do that with the GS300. Like I said though, I'm not very familiar with them because it's a new platform for me, and I've never owned a Toyota actually. So you know, I'll learn some Toyota engineering, see what they do. So far I think Honda engineering is better. But maybe I could be wrong. As far as Dajiban content, there are some things I do want to do to Dajiban. It still is crushed in the back. I'm not going to walk all the way out there because it's far and I'm lazy. But you know, you can trust me when I say the hit and run accident damage is still there in the driver's side rear. And I do want to fix that at some point. But now that it's not my house, now that I have a house to live in, maybe I could start building the van into more of an adventure vehicle, even though it's lowered and stuff. More, you know, made for camping and whatnot versus living in. So I might be doing that. There's a lot of different things I could do. So let me know what, you know, you guys would want to see and or watch me do. And I'll try to do that. Or and if not, if no one says anything, I'll just keep making random videos that I want to make. And because I just do this for fun. And it does help me sometimes when I'm working on something, when I video it, because I forget to take pictures a lot. So then I'll be like, oh fuck, you know, how did that thing go back together? Like, where were those, you know, a lot of vacuum tube type stuff is like, where did the vacuum tubes go? Like, I remember there's freaking 50 million of them, you know, all over the place. And so recording it helps me to go back and look at, you know, how it was before I took it apart, and then compare and be like, oh, okay, that, you know, that was like that, you know. So it does help me a lot, and that's kind of why I do it. But anyway, yeah, thanks for watching.